Iran wants to do. It wants the world focused on all of these proxies so they can embarrass the United States. Here's President Biden today.
Yes, I don't think we need a wider war in the Middle East. That's not what I'm looking for.
Nobody wants a wider war in the Middle East, except for Iran. The Biden administration believes, and this is basically their idea here, that a proportional response, somehow going after the proxies in Iraq in exactly the right way, a response against Iraq, not against Iran, can limit the risk of escalation. In reality, Iran's going to gladly trade the lives of its proxies and up the ante. They don't care if these people die or any of these people die or the Houthis down in Yemen die. They want to continue to embarrass the United States. The only thing that will stop Iran's proxies is imposing a meaningful price on Iran, so they cut off the funding and the support for all of these other organizations. Iran fears an attack on Iran. Think about this guy, Hossein Salmani. He is the now head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the IRGC. He's the guy who funds and travels and commands all of the axis of resistance. We exploited the Ayatollah's fears of a force-on-force conflict. We pierced Iran's shield when we killed his former boss, Qasem Soleimani. And then Iran stopped. Until you do that, until you make them in Tehran fear an American response, then Iran continues to allow its proxies to attack the United States, which brings us back to Karbala in Iraq, the Shia Muslim stronghold. And so far, no response now from the United States. We start tonight with retired Air Force Brigadier General Bob Spalding, former White House National Security Council Senior Director for Planning. General, it's good to have you. Thank you. Just in terms of what's going on in the Situation Room right now at the White House, we went through that list of 160 attacks on U.S. service members by Iran's proxies. Are we to believe that in the past few months, the National Security Council hasn't developed a menu, for lack of a better term, for the president to say, okay, Americans died, I want option A, M, and Q?
No, I'm sure they've been explaining this to all of their departments and agencies. They want options. They want economic options. They want diplomatic options. They want military options. No, they've gone over this backwards and forwards. I guarantee you. I haven't seen as accurate a portrayal of policy misdecisions as you just laid out. And I think it's absolutely correct. The only thing I would add is there is extreme anger and hatred between the Persians and the Arabs. You know, and the way that the Trump administration was dealing with that was choking the Iranians and then getting the Arabs and the Israelis to essentially come together. I would add one other thing, and that is the Chinese are supporting Iranians. And so, just like you said, I think we need to work on how do we strangle economically and financially the Iranian leadership, and in particular, those in the leadership, their personal assets. We need to start thinking about how we expose them to losses.
Again, so this is what is confusing me, right? We had 3 Americans die on Sunday. It's now Tuesday overnight in the Middle East. You're talking about 48 hours. I'm wondering what the explanation is from somebody who's been in the room, who's been in the Situation Room. What's the explanation for this taking so long?
Well, you know, here's something that was interesting, and this happened during the Trump administration. You hear a lot of these same policy recommendations in Washington, D.C., and it doesn't matter if it's the left or the right. Everybody kind of thinks the same. And then they'd come in and they'd recommend something really crazy, and the president would say, hey, we're not going to do that. And it really caused the whole D.C., you know, national security foreign policy group to really stop and take pause. So I think that's not going on here in the Biden administration. It's basically the standard, the same stuff that you got in the Obama administration, but go before that. Same in the Bush administration. It doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. You're going to get the same stuff. And it's along the lines of what you just said, just a misunderstanding of the region.
List of warnings to Iran. So these are warnings to Iran after the attack. Right now, U.S. forces in the Middle East. So we've got a lot of assets. when we want to respond. October 10th, October 24th, November 4th, January 3rd, January 13th. There was also the line from Jake Sullivan where he said that there would be severe consequences to Iran. What is the Iranians' view when you were in the National Security Council and you guys were putting together plans? What in your mind did you all view the Iranians as viewing as severe consequences?
Well, I mean, I think you brought it up. Striking Qasem Soleimani really woke them up that they were vulnerable, personally vulnerable. And I think that's the only way, quite frankly, you speak to the Iranian regime. They really don't care about a lot of things. And quite frankly, we don't do a good job of analyzing what are the things that we care about. We did this during the Kosovo War. We were 45 days into the war, and President Clinton said, hey, we're not going to send in ground troops, so you better figure it out. And we actually pulled together a team and looked at what do the leaders that support Milosevic value, and then we started taking those things away. So we can do this. We have the ability to do it. We just don't.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.